So we're going to do a reaction to this video where the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force explains or tries to explain what it is that she was doing when she reposted this article and why I think that it's super bogus. Here we go.
I want to talk about the elephant in the room right now, which is what probably half the people who are having coffee time, who don't normally attend coffee time, are probably here for. And really it comes down to a post that was shared on my official page.
Can we just really quick talk about the quality of this video? I'm live right now. She's live in this video. She's live. I'm live. She's live. I'm live. Is there a difference in quality, do you think? I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy dressed up as a guy, pretend to be another guy here on YouTube, okay? And this is the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. This video is getting 100,000 views. She's trying to make sense of what she did. People are upset with her, and she can't even get some decent audio going. This is like a really, really bad quality iPhone video, frankly. I suspect they didn't even have Wi-Fi where they were at. They're going off that 3G. This video was filmed with 3G.
On Friday evening. Yeah. And so, Diamond One, you know more than anybody that we get a lot of emails, right? And a lot of emails trying to highlight airmen in a great way.
Right.
So this was no different. We got an email a few weeks ago about a senior airman at Luke Air Force Base who is doing great things and started a single parent support group, if you will, yeah. or is trying to get attention and resources to be able to do that. And it was a good news story. So as soon as I heard it and somebody sent it my way, of course I said, hey, send me a picture of this airman. I'd love to be able to highlight the good work that they're doing on behalf of single parents, because I'll be honest, whether you're a female, male, single parent, doesn't matter. It can be a challenging life. And I shouldn't even say single parent because, you know, I spent most of my career dual military like you. Right. My husband did 5 one-year deployments, you know, downrange, and also a tour in Korea where although I wasn't a single parent, I certainly had the challenges that some of them do. And so, yeah.
So here's what she's doing here. You guys tell me if you agree. I see Scad says, who would win in quality, a guy streaming from his house or the entire Air Force, right? Justin says, listen to that language already. A post that was shared on my page, not the simple phrase, I posted. Yep, correct. Austin says, I'm getting reception in a cinder block building. Everything looks potato quality right now. Well, trust me, this video is high quality, coming at you in high resolution. Robert says, I've seen Bigfoot footage with better video quality. That's exactly right. I've seen Bigfoot footage in higher quality too. Love those Bigfoot TV shows. Now, what she's doing here is she's excuse making, right? She's saying, she's starting with all the reasons to sympathize with her and that this isn't actually her fault. She was trying to do something good instead of a simple, we didn't do our homework. Now, why is this important to me? Why do I feel like we even need to talk about this? Well, what it comes down to is that there's an airman out there, a PJ, who is totally, his reputation's totally on the rocks right now because this article was just shared to hundreds of thousands of people calling him out basically by name, because if you know who the wife is, you know who the baby daddy is, calling him out for being a horrible father, abandoning the kid, not taking care of him, abusing the family, all this stuff. And she just went ahead and shared that on her page. That's why this is important to me, because this is that fake news. This is that fake news of a guy trying to be a good dad. No one asked for this. The girl who, I don't even blame the girl who wrote the article, frankly. She was interviewed in her local Air Force, editorial or whatever. She didn't ask the CMSAF to repost this. She just took it upon herself. So that's why I think this is such a big deal to me.
The post was always about highlighting this. What came back with the pictures was also an article that this person, a commentary that they wrote in their base paper. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I read that commentary briefly, probably too brief, and that's on me. But I read that commentary that was entitled "The Hats I Wear,"
yeah.
And it resonated with me. Because and probably to many of our audience members, because reality is we all wear a lot of hats in our lives, and it's just a matter of fact. And so when I read that, I read and I could relate to all these different hats that this young airman is wearing. My blind spot is because as a mother and as a wife.
By the way, sorry if you can hear some noise in the background or some work going on. By the way, the blind spot memes are blowing up right now. Like these blind spots that she claims she has. It was just, and she's going to go into it a little bit here to try to clean up the story. The blind spot memes are out of control. The memes are, if you go over to my Instagram, check out my story and look at the 20 memes I posted of this. After you listen to this show, after you see this story here, you'll kind of see why it's so funny. But it is just classic meme warfare going on. And the Redditors, the airmen out there are winning, by the way.
I understood that piece. You know, I glossed over my blind spot where she made 2 suggestions about her then husband at the time who you know, she.
Another thing, when people start clapping to make a point, they have no point. Okay? I've seen this on the internet. I've seen this tactic. If you have to clap in beat with your words, you're probably not saying anything that good. It's just like trying to emphasize something that doesn't make sense. I don't like this clapping while I'm talking. If you guys feel me, if you guys know what I'm talking about, hit me up in the comments and then become a patron.
She made some, you know, comments about her now ex, right, and said, now I'm wearing the single parent hat. And it didn't put him in a good light. But I'll be honest, that was my blind spot. And I own that because I didn't see that commentary for how it could be taken from a.
All right, hold on. The look on her face right here is, let me find a spot. The look on her face right here. Let me find a spot. Freeze frame. That is the look of what is my name? Who am I? What am I saying right now? What are the words coming out of my mouth? Is this making any sense? Someone with the earpiece in my ear tell me if anything I'm saying is making any sense. And the dude over here, the one they're calling one diamond, which must be an Air Force term. If you guys know what that means, hit me up in the chat and let me know what it is. One diamond, or diamond one over here, is like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what she's saying. She's clapping, and that sounds good. So I'm going to just agree and help her get through this one.
Context of the article, and I was like, man,
thank you guys in the chat. Epic chat.
So here's a story of this person's story and how they recovered and etc. So we posted that article along with the post about the single parent piece, which was always the highlight. Once we found out within about 2 hours, you know, it resonated well with a lot of people, but then we started to see the comments where, hey, that's not very fair to the father. And we acknowledge that, and we're like, take it off, take the article piece off, but let's keep the post up about this airman because she's done great work and she has, you know, she is on her way to
keep the article up. They want to keep it up, even when they know something's not right. They get this vibe that something's not right, but they want to keep the article up because they're like, hey, we still got to give her a shout out for this article she wrote. She's a single mom. That's all I need to know. She said she's a single mom. That's all I need to know. We got to keep her up there. We got to give her a shout out. Who cares? Who cares what is really going on with this? Who cares who's affected by it? You know, it doesn't matter. People are starting to talk in the comments. They don't know what they're talking about. These airmen don't know what they're talking about. We got to just keep this article up.
Doing great things for our United States Air Force and certainly for Team Luke. So when the article came off, 2 hours later, you know, Team 19 went to bed. Like, we thought it was a good deal. And Team 19 also made the decision that because that article went out, that we were going to reach out and talk to both members, right? The senior airman and the staff sergeant involved on Saturday, only to wake up to see what social media does, which is expand like wildfire and oftentimes not in a positive.
Why is it windy in there? I can't get over the poor quality of this video. Why is it windy in there? Why do I hear wind? I mean, I can see you inside. I can see the airman over there who's filming them. I can see her in the fireplace reflection. Why is it windy? I just don't understand, you guys. I don't understand what's going on here. Now she's going to go into this. First of all, I love your comments, Robert. My many hats cover my blind spot. Point. Hey, you know what? She's right. You're right. I'm wrong. I should abandon this video here right now because I didn't think about it that way. Now, this is the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, okay? This is the highest enlisted leader in the Air Force who's about to go on a tirade about how social media is the real enemy here. Not posting crazy stuff to your own Facebook page. It's the negativity of social media. It's the trolls. And
so it was unfortunate. Saturday morning, I spent time, called both of them.
You guys are epic in the chat. Epic in the chat.
One, make sure that they're okay. That's the number one priority. Also share you know, I was pretty apologetic for the way things had turned out because that was never the intent. The intent was always to highlight the good that somebody is doing. So very unfortunate how it turned out. But I'll tell you, we all own some of this. I certainly own it. It is my official Facebook page, and what we put out there can never, you know, disparage any of our airmen or have them, you know, in that light.
Except it's like the third or fourth time that she's done this, okay? I maybe wouldn't even be doing this video right now if it wasn't the third or fourth time that this has happened. But why is the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force having this much Facebook drama? I mean, I don't know. I don't have this much Facebook drama. Now, I am looking for somebody to start a YouTube beef with me. If you're a YouTuber and you want to beef with me, I want somebody to have a YouTube beef with me so bad. I just want to have like one little YouTube beef. Maybe it'll be Nikki. I don't know. But you know, one person who's got more than enough of this right now is Chief Master Sergeant Base. Let's see what's going on here.
Totally own that. That was my mistake. What happened as a result was the dirt started slinging, and then people started finding dirt on the members in our air.
Finding dirt? When she says finding dirt, she literally means finding out the truth. Like in this instance, she is saying people start slinging dirt, which is just telling her the other side of the story. There's every story, 3 sides, right? I'm sure we've all heard this. Side A, side B, and the truth, right? So she posted side A, somebody else posts side B, and now she's saying that they start slinging dirt. Start slinging dirt.
And it was just a whole unfortunate slew of events that, that ultimately last night led us to take it down. And we took the post down last night because it started to become
the other guy's face.
It was almost on the verge of people providing threats, and we can't do that.
So before, and I like that. So, and I said, you said you own it, well, we own it, right? So we own it as Team 19, and there were definitely. So the thing I like about this is iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And you mentioned blind spots, and what I do like, even though the mudslinging happened, there were also some people out there with good intent to let us know that, hey, here's a blind spot that you have.
Yeah.
Man, that's called having our six. That's called having our back, and that's what we're supposed to do for each other as wingmen. So I definitely appreciate that did happen. But to your point, there's a way to do that, and the mud and as you go down that slippery slope of correction, then the mudslinging starts.
Yeah.
And then the other piece of it.
You know what scares me here? He said the slippery slope of correction. He just said, Diamond One here, just said the slippery slope of correction. What is the implication there? That you shouldn't make a correction if you're wrong? Now, we all kind of know this is true. We all kind of know that, you know, senior leadership doesn't like to admit when they're wrong. But what he's saying here, he just said it out loud, the slippery slope of correction. Wow.
Is because quickly become divisive, and the whole initial theme of the story of an airman who did some good gets lost.
It completely got lost.
Right.
And I will be honest, so airing details about somebody's past, highly inappropriate.
What are you? I can't even. I literally cannot even. I don't even say I literally cannot even. But I literally have to say I literally cannot even, to the point where she says airing the details of someone's past is inappropriate in response to her sitting here apologizing for airing the details of somebody's past. I literally can't even right now.
Bullying online, highly inappropriate. Harassing people.
The biggest bully, the biggest cyber bully in the Air Force is the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force.
Highly inappropriate. So we got to get to a place. This is why I always talk about culture. And this is why, you know, when you look at my focus areas, you know, myself, General Brown, we talk about culture and the environment that we have to have. You know, we have to be better than that. And so I wanted to just share that piece, and all of us, I think, own this and have to take a look in the mirror on kind of our responsibilities on social media writ large, not for this incident, but what's our responsibilities and how do we conduct ourselves. But
you guys, what is going? Is this real life? She just said, we all have to, she literally said, not this incident, but we literally have to look at all of our responsibilities. And so, I mean, I'm not talking about this. This is nothing. But all of us have to look at our responsibilities in general. And I don't even know what to say. It's kind of a lost cause.
How do we move on?
Right. And you know what we had to do this weekend. So whenever there's any gray area or blind spots,
yeah.
And I know what Aaron Perry would have did and what Aaron Batts would have done.
Yeah.
But what we did, being in for a while and realized that, hey, there's a blind spot, we went back to the source of our code, which was 1-1.
Yeah.
So I had to reread that as a first sergeant. So I went back and said, let me make sure that we're not doing anything that we're missing the mark on here. Because, yep, as you said, CMSAF, we own some of the things that happen out there. But then, now it turns to, are there things that others, meaning myself, meaning the folks who posted some other things, dug up history, that probably wasn't appropriate? Are there some things that they should own?
Yeah.
And I would just challenge everybody to go back, reread 1-1, because it does give us the foundation for how we should be treating each other, period.
I love that you said that, but
there's been in the last 2 minutes of this video, there's been a shift in blame to the audience. Is everyone else seeing this? It's been pretty slick. It's been a little slick, but it hasn't gone over my head that in the last 2 minutes of this video, they've shifted blame to the audience, to the Air Force, to the airmen of the Air Force out there. They're now just saying what's wrong with the fleet. They're not even talking about the video anymore.
Sam.
Or the
Aaron
post.
Airman Bass would not have read 1-1. So that's what we do when we're a little bit more experienced. And I guess we don't. I'm not old yet, but no, I agree. I reread it a couple weeks ago when I posted 1-1 because there's some good foundational stuff. But bottom line is, we all airmen own that culture piece on how do we create an environment where every airman can thrive. And where every airman feels valued. And
the problem here is that you just crushed an airman's whole life by posting to your gigantic Facebook page as the senior enlisted official member of the Air Force that this dude's a deadbeat dad, that this PJ is a deadbeat dad. It's so, you guys in the chat are my heroes right now, by the way. You have me cracking up. Nikki says, dang, Max is the biggest bully. Scotty says, and this is a great one. Okay, I don't say this often, but where the hell are the officers? Seriously. Who has the oversight on this? Who is the one that, who is the officer directly in charge of the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force? It can't be the Chief of Air Force Operations. There's got to be somebody else that she talks to. There's got to be somebody else. The officers are staying out of it in hopes that nobody finds their pictures from college. Maybe. Why take the blame when you can just divert it? Exactly. Diamond 1 is one of the 13 E9 first sergeants in the Air Force, and I believe the career field manager that oversees all three components, Chief Master Sergeants. Thank you very much for that, Austin. I really appreciate it. Robert says she's apologizing for our mistakes. What a great leader. Yeah, she said, basically the problem is we didn't read 1-1 when she posted it on her Facebook page. We should have been paying better attention to her Facebook, or else we would have known how to act when she throws an airman under the bus. Let me just, before I even start the video again, as a Chief Select, I'm particularly hurt by this because my job would have almost been to take care of people, okay? As a Chief Select, watching her as the E9 throw her airmen under the bus, throw the whole fleet of airmen in the whole Air Force under the bus for her mistake, that cuts deep. That cuts real deep. To the selects out there, this one's for you.
We create the foundational culture that we want. And I want to talk about this, and I'm hoping you guys have some questions or want to have dialogue on this because we don't want to shy away from these things. But the culture piece is foundational to, the suicides in the Air Force, to the sexual assaults, to the harassment, to the bullying, to the respect piece. And I don't want to focus on the negatives. I really want to focus on how do we get it right.
I bet you don't want to focus on the negatives, Master Sergeant, Chief Master Sergeant Base, because they're all at you right now.
How do we work way left of that where our airmen are resilient enough to continue going on and they're able to have that culture and environment again where they're thriving?
Well, that's where the peer check comes in.
Yeah.
She's like, if you guys start behaving, I will let you thrive again. I will give you a safe environment. If you guys leave me alone on Facebook, I will create that safe environment again for you. But your success is up to you. There's nothing I can do. You have to stop trolling me on the internet, and then I'll let you go back to work being good airmen.
You said about that too, because our culture, that 1-1 and all those other doctrinal type stuff out there, it kind of tells us what we should be aspiring to be.
Yeah.
And just like what you did, if you identify a blind spot, we identify a blind spot, and we say, okay, guys, we acknowledge it, but then we work towards how we can be better at that. Yeah. And I think that's a challenge for all airmen, and hopefully our guardians as well, to take a look at what can you do to be better the next day, and then whatever action you take, and better.
Did he just shout out the Guardians? I think this is the first time that I've seen the Guardians get casually shouted out in conversation in some kind of official capacity. Did you guys hear that? Let me rewind this just for a quick second here.
And they're able to have that culture and environment again where they're thriving.
Well, that's where the peer check comes in, I think.
Yeah.
And like we said about that too, because our culture, that 1-1 and all those other doctrinal type stuff out there, it kind of tells us what we should be aspiring to be.
Yeah.
And just like what you did, if you identify a blind spot, we identify a blind spot, and we say, okay, guys, we acknowledge it, but then we work towards how we can be better at that. Yeah. And I think that's a challenge for all airmen, and hopefully our guardians as well.
He did.
Take a look at what can you do.
Shout it out for the
better
Guardians.
The next day, and then whatever action you take, and better, because this post or whatever else was out there, was there something you could have done differently? And if you could have, then how do you go about making some type of amends for that to be better the next day?
Yeah.
So.
Hey.
That's a great point, Casey. He's like, man, I missed the good old days when I was just a specialist 1, 2, 3, and 4. It is funny. We just covered that story about the Air Force Academy cheating yesterday, and now we've got to deal with this. Regal put it great, disgusting, corporate doublespeak. It's truly sickening. I can't overstate it. The shift in blame from the beginning of this video till now of it being, they're just bashing the fleet. They're just literally bashing the fleet at this point. They're not even talking about the incident for the last 6 or 7 minutes. I hope you guys are having a good time watching me freak out. The last time I was this bothered by a story that we've covered on the show was the colonel who got caught stealing from the exchange in Korea, who got no punishment at court-martial. That was the last time I felt this disappointed in military leadership.
There was something that I could have done differently, and for certain acknowledge that. Before we move on, and oh, by the way, we have our great teammate, part of Team 19, Master Sergeant Julia Barron, who is going to be the voice who will be asking your questions. I just want to close it out with one more thing. A lot of y'all have heard me talk about where we are in the digital era and so forth. What I would ask every airman, every single one of us, if you haven't watched the Netflix show Social Dilemma, I think it'd be a great watch, and I'm asking you to watch it. It's 90 minutes. I mean, like homework, 90 minutes of Netflix. But it helped me understand where we are, and I watched it, a few months back, and it was so good that because I have kiddos, I want to make sure my family watched it too.
Look, first of all, Justin, I know what you're trying to say in the chat. Autocorrect gets me all the time. Scotty, I would pay good money to see your locked in room with Jocko. That would be interesting. Why is this now so far off from just saying something like, I messed up again, and I'll strive to set a better example? Listen, I wanted to, it's important that we got to the end of the video here because I've got a point that I want to make too, which is I'm pretty sure she just advocated for Netflix, a private company. Maybe if there's somebody in the chat who's an expert at like kind of acquisitions and legal stuff like that, you could give me an idea if telling people to go get Netflix and watch a video in an official capacity is kind of like a weird thing to do in her position. But if anybody should watch it, it's her. She's the one who's overstepped on so many occasions on Facebook, specifically the social network where she's gotten herself in some trouble. She doesn't stop. She doesn't stop. And she's totally deflected. Minnie's comment about using her to dodge bullets is the greatest comment that I've ever seen. I love the clapping hands in the chat. You guys are the best. Loving this right now.
So we need to understand the information era that we are in right now. And that gets back to who we are as airmen, who we are as service members, as veterans, and as Americans. So we're either together or we're going to allow this information domain to cause strife and confusion and division amongst us. And I don't think that's what any American wants. So, yeah. All right. With that.
Damn, she finished it off with Americans. That's not what us as Americans want. Us as Americans don't want probably her as the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. I'll say that. Nikki MGT even wants us to go watch porn, I feel like. He's telling us to go watch streaking services. Scotty, thanks for clearing that up. I was trying to keep you kind of clandestine in the chat. So, Space Force will LARP Star Wars. Is that the plan? That'd be pretty cool, actually. You know, I can't, like, thank you for watching that video with me. That's the end of it there. That's her non-apology. That's her non-apology to the fleet of airmen, to the force of guardians and airmen out there for what she did. I feel bad for the father in all this, okay? So Chief Master Sergeant Joanne Bass of the Air Force has only been in there since August of 2020. And in then she's had multiple incidences that we've covered on this show as to her kind of overstepping boundaries on social media. I really want to be able to cover stories of her, like her massive successes and all these people that she's helped, but she hasn't set me up for that. You gotta give me a softball here for you, Chief Master Sergeant Bass. If you want to get turned around on the ScuttleButt Show, if you want the reputation to start looking good, you got to give me a softball, because so far it has not been good, the stories you've had to cover out here, okay? It's been a wild ride, and that video was kind of insane. Thank you for watching that with me, you guys. We're over the hour, but I feel like we're having a good time. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching that clip from our live show. We're live right here on YouTube, Sunday through Thursday, 1800 Pacific Standard Time. If you want, come on by, join the chat. I'd love to hear from you. If you like that video and you want to see more, consider checking out this video right here or subscribing to the channel with this button right here. I look forward to talking to you really soon. I'm out for now.